Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Convert on Shopify. My name is Pancho Mendiola. And as you know, in this podcast, our goal is to bring a little more understanding about what CRO is, what it stands for, why it's important for you, and why it's even more important as we're evolving in the e-commerce industry. It's not longer feasible or profitable to just dump money directly into pay-per-click campaigns. We have to be more efficient. We have to be better better at what we do. So this is what it's all about. And today I think we got a little closer to that goal. I had a great conversation with Steven Hudspith. So this guy, he has an agency. It's called Growth. I'll leave all the information in the description. First of all, he's been doing retail for more than 30 years. And then from those years, a bunch of them are within e-commerce or the e-commerce industry, let's say. And he's been using Shopify also for many, many years. And in this episode, we had a very, very interesting conversation about, first of all the myths surrounding Shopify. You know, why people think that there's stuff that you can and you can't do with Shopify, and what are some key features that maybe will help you make this decision also. But we also talked about what are the basic stuff. Now that you say, okay, I didn't know that I could actually do CRO with Shopify, that I could tweak things so I can improve my conversion rate within Shopify. I thought that it was a done deal with I just buy a theme and that's it. Well, we got into that, and he walks us through this basic things that we need to do in order to have a greater impact in our conversion rate. So I really, really enjoyed this episode. I hope you do. So let's jump right in. So Steven, thanks again. Thank you very much for your time. I know that you are busy. I know you have kids as well. So I really, really appreciate that you giving us a little bit of your time to enlighten us about CRO, and especially CRO in Shopify, which is a topic that is not usually, or those two terms that are not usually found together. You know, we tend to think that with Shopify we can't do anything. We're just basically stuck with Shopify as it is. So I want to start by asking you, first of all, why. I know that you have 30 years of experience in retail. A bunch of them are in online, in the e-commerce realm, and a lot of them doing Shopify. So how did you end up choosing Shopify, and why? What are some key reasons why you chose Shopify as your platform?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your podcast. It's an honor to be here. I've been listening to them from the start, and like I said, great info. And if anybody's not listened to them from the start, get there now and start listening to it.
Thank you.
But yeah, I've worked in retail for many, many years, and then finally I've gone into the e-commerce side. I worked for big shopping in the UK, was doing e-commerce. And then as I started my own store in Shopify back in 2014, and a lot's changed in those days. We all had static home pages. We had to put numbers in to move them around and so on. So I obviously I found Shopify because we were promoting quite a bit then. I set up a store, used it. I then started, obviously, because we were a bit limited with Shopify then, what you could change and tweak and so on. And obviously there's lots of other platforms seen advertised. So I tried most of the others, like WordPress. I'm trying to think what they're all called now. I think there's one called Jimdo. There's so many out there, and I tried most of them a lot and that. But at the end of the day, just come back to Shopify because it's so easy to use, and it's cost effective as well. You pay $29, and I don't think that cost has changed since 2014. All hosted. All you have to do is buy your domain name, and these days it's even easier because you can just log into your domain and it all connects. Where back in 2014 you'd have to go in and change your settings, and we didn't have Shopify payments then. So obviously these days it's a lot easier because Shopify payments is just about available in most countries, if not PayPal. So it's just for ease of use of it. And then, like I said, you just basically get a theme, put your products on, and off you go.
All right.
And the beauty of Shopify, it's not hard to get a store what can sell products as well. Obviously, the hardest part is getting that traffic to your site. That's the biggest problem when you first start and so on.
So yeah, we can. It's so easy to use that we are able to focus on the other stuff that matters or that actual matters. Like getting like you said, like figuring out how to get traffic, improve the traffic that we're getting into your site, and all of the other like technical stuff. Like hosting and you have to keep all your folders updated in your hosting platform. All of that technical stuff. You just get it out of the way and you focus on what actual matters, which is getting traffic and your site working all the time. That's that's important, right? So, but I know that there must be people listening and saying, yeah, I know, but you sacrifice stuff, right? In order to make it so easy, you sacrifice a lot of functionality or things that you can do. What are some things that you can do with Shopify and maybe people are not aware of?
Obviously, there's lots of things you can do these days. It's a lot easier than it was. Loads of apps there that can help people out and so on. But I think the biggest thing concerning CRO is landing pages. And obviously, it was before you had to have an app like Shogun or Pagefly. But these days with Shopify 2.0, obviously it's a lot easier to set up a landing page by using a new template. And landing pages are highly important to when you drive traffic to your store. You want them to land on a landing page what's relevant to what the ad is or any way you're sending it to.
That's something that really changed with Shopify 2.0, right? Like before, let's say the customizable part of Shopify was really focused on the homepage and the product page. So but mostly the homepage. That's where you could have a lot of sections and a lot of different types of sections with different types of content. The product, you could customize some stuff, but it was kind of limited. And now with Shopify 2.0, it just opened the gates to creating new stuff and basically build your own templates. And you said something that I think it's also really important, which is if someone comes from an ad and then lands to your site, there needs to be a connection from what they clicked on and where they're landing, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because obviously, if you just got an ad and it just goes to a normal, like your homepage, then obviously people are now going to have to search for the product. But obviously with landing pages, you can customize them. You can add, like with the templates now, you can move all the sections around, you can move a price, you can move a title, you can hide things and so on, add more content and so on. So you can make it really relevant to your audience. Because, for example, Facebook ads are basically more about getting people to come in and learn about your brand. Well, if it was like a Google shopping ad, then obviously people are more intent on buying new products and so on. So yeah, you can really tell them to where your traffic sources are coming in and so on.
That's an awesome distinction. So when you're doing pay-per-click through Facebook and like Instagram or social media in general, you don't want them to actually go straight to buying. That's not the reason that they're in. They were just hanging out and they saw an ad. You need to help them learn about your brand. And if they Google it, it means that they're looking for something and they're more close to the conversion funnel or down the conversion funnel. I like that tip. I actually wrote it down and I'm gonna use it. So we have a big win. Just 7 minutes into the conversation. So thank you for that.
Of course, even when they come from Facebook now, you still want to try and sell them a product. You know what I'm saying? Just have content with those sales page. You still need to obviously get them a bit further in that funnel, but obviously they need to understand a bit more and so on.
Of course, yeah, they need a little bit more context, and maybe you can give that context also with retargeting if they don't purchase like in that specific session, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are there some things that you have heard from your clients? I know you run an agency specializing in Shopify and specializing in CRO, which I think it's awesome. So have you heard of things that people think that they cannot do in Shopify? Like, no, we haven't tried it because you can't do it in Shopify. So something that like stands out.
I think people think there's lots of things they can't change, but at the end of the day, if you can hire a coder, you can basically change anything in Shopify. You can move any element around, make new sections. A lot of apps as well you can customize as well, like Recharge for subscription app. That can be customized a bit. A lot of the bold apps as well. You can tweak a lot of them and so on. So basically, it's all down to your budget and your imagination. Just if it's something you think about having done, let's go for it. But of course, you want to make sure you're not going to break your site, so you want to try and test it first as well.
Yeah, so this is where this famous phrase comes. There's an app for that, and I think that also applies to e-commerce. So if you think of something, I'm pretty sure there's an app for that, right?
Yeah. But obviously try and keep apps to your bare minimum, because obviously the more apps you put on, yes, it can slow your site down and so on and all that. And plus, you don't need that too many to convert and so on.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, you said it, and that's a great tip as well. Always test after you make a change. Test what happens, because it can slow down. But maybe like if it slows down, but you increase your conversion rate, that's a win. But not all that doesn't happen all the time. So just make sure that you test it. All right. So now that we have established that, that Shopify is a great platform because you can launch super fast and you can do really cool things without breaking bank or taking a lot of time, with programming and development and stuff like this. And that you can also do CRO with Shopify. So there's a lot of things that you can do. What do you think that are like the basic things where you should start with, obviously, and the ones that could potentially have a larger impact?
Well, first of all, biggest tip is don't follow any of those top 10 tactics to increase conversions, because there is no such thing. It's a load of cod swallop. But yeah, so I see a lot of Shopify sites over the years, in even Shopify Plus agencies design them, and I see so many basic errors in them. So, for example, take your homepage, for example. When people land on your homepage, you're going to get different types of traffic coming to your site. Some people want to know about your brand. They need to explain to them what your site's about. So you do that with like your banner image, your banner heading, which if you can actually test and on your website, can make a big difference to your conversions, and the menu as well. Unless you are Apple, putting all your brand names up on the top of the menu, people aren't going to know what it's about. So you need to make sure that people can look at your menu quickly and say, oh yeah, you sell like women's clothes and men's clothes or soft drinks or something like that. So just basically explain in your menu what you're selling, and your banner image, and that'll go a long way to, first of all, letting people know what your site's about. And then things like what makes you stand out from your competitors or any other site. Like if I go to give me an example. Let's say I go to a coffee website. There's loads of Shopify sites selling coffee, subscription ones as well, most of them. But what makes your coffee different from other people? So you need to make sure you've got unique selling points and reasons to buy from you and not the other people. Obviously, it's harder these days. Like before, you could just offer free shipping, and obviously everyone offers free shipping these days. So yeah, you just need to make sure you've got that down. And then just keep it pretty basic, really. Make sure your product page, if you've got a clothing store, make sure you've got size chart, and you've got the basic information at the top for people who are quick buyers. They just want to come to your site, have a quick view, and already know they're interested in your product, so they can quickly view it and buy. And if you actually look on Amazon, they've got like bullet points at the top, and then further down they've got more information for people who want more information. Then just make sure things like contrast all stands out. So text on images, make sure you've not got white text on a white background, people can read it. Make sure your buttons stand out and slap people in the face, because obviously that's what you want people to click on. Just get the basics right, and it can make a big difference. And I did have a case back in March 2020. Obviously COVID was underway then, and it was New York Scrubs Company, and they reached out to me saying, we've got loads of traffic coming to the site now, but our conversion rate still is low. I think it was 0.6%. Anyway, we did a quick audit of a site, and I said to them, you needed to change this and change that, because like for example, it didn't have a size chart, and the banner image didn't tell people exactly what they were selling. And they said to me, well, how do you do that? And what it was, they were on a custom theme, so we would have to either change all the coding, but to save time, we put them onto a basic Shopify theme, what you can buy from a theme store. Did all the basic stuff, made that live within a month, and their conversion rate nearly doubled straight away, because obviously had all the basic elements there.
So this is something a little bit of like a myth, right? That we tend to believe that something custom or something tailor-made must work better than a prefab theme that you can just purchase for $200 and just like plug it in and that's it, right? That's a myth. And obviously you have to take into consideration that it's a theme, and that there's some stuff that you will need to tweak to hit all these pointers that you just gave us. And I think I really like the example of the description and the bullets. I think that going from general descriptions, and then or your maybe like your sales pitch at the beginning, and then going into specifics like at the bottom, so people that are really interested will continue to read until they find that specific information. One of them being, will it fit me? And you have your size chart there, or when will it arrive, or like what are do I have some sort of guarantee? And there's a lot of very valuable information, but you don't want to start selling with, we have a guarantee, right? That's not your selling point. You want to add that like further down. This is I think a very tricky question regarding the things that you can change or you should change. What do you think about checkout? You probably know that one big sell point with Shopify is their checkout. You know, they developed another, let's say a sub brand called Shop, and basically what it is, it's a checkout cart, and that's it. So they're big on checkout. What do you think about messing with checkout?
Was one of the most common things people think is wrong with sites is a checkout. I'll get people saying, "Oh, I'm not converting my checkout. I need to do this to my checkout. I need a one-page checkout." But what really is a problem is everything what comes before the checkout. Because I've seen with Shopify checkout, like I said, it's not perfect. It could be improved, but I've seen plenty of data where once people actually start to checkout, they get very little drop off, and the reason for that is because they've removed people's fears from buying. We've removed friction. They've answered everybody's questions. So gained trust from the people. So it's everything what happens before you check out can have a major bigger impact on your checkout. So don't think you're not selling, you're not converting. So let's add upsell, cross-sell apps on your cart, for example, to help, will that make the checkout better and so on. It's really, you've got to make sure that you've sold everything beforehand.
Yeah, so if you look at statistics, the conversion funnel, which starts with add to cart and ends with the actual purchase, that's super standard, right? You can look at, 10 sites and it behaves the same or almost the same. What changes is the amount of traffic that goes through that funnel and where you start with the conversion. But the drop down between those stages, I've seen it repeated like a lot of times. So for me, it's a standard. So that must be working. And I think that, or do you think that comes from this other myth, or not? I don't want to say myth, but like general assumptions where just like gurus come and say you need to have the less clicks possible in order to sell more, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much false information there when it comes to conversions. Like a classic example, what's quite funny if you speak to CRO experts is button color. Doesn't matter what color your button color is, as long as it stands out. Like if you go to Amazon, for example, they've got bright yellow buttons and it stands out. It's different from the rest of the site. So yes, you just need to make it stand out. But yeah, so it's a lot of you remember a lot of these people who are saying you got to do this and do that are trying to sell you something. They're probably like if you go in a Shopify app store, you'll see so many apps saying this will increase your conversions. But where's the proof? They might have done it on a few stores, but unless it's been properly tested, you can't, officially say that does help with your conversions. So it's so much false information about that. And going back to the Shopify checkout, if you actually go to Huel.com, what's a big Shopify site, they actually use a Shopify standard checkout, and I don't think they've tweaked anything to it. So this must be working for them. So just leave a checkout. Concentrate on other areas and so on. But yeah, exactly. It's a bit like Shopify and the speed score they added on the site as well. Everyone thinks their site's slow and so on, but unless you're like in one of your previous interviews with someone, unless you're doing loads of money and loads of traffic, don't worry too much about your speed, because unless it's really slow over 5 seconds or so on, what is often is apps what the scores in it, just leave it alone, because it's not cost effective to tweak it. There's lots of other things you can tweak beforehand.
So just to wrap it up, let's do a small summary. So I think that the best one so far is, if it's working, just don't bother changing it right now. There's more important stuff that are probably affecting conversion more than that you check out. Like focus more on your initial pages, like you said at the beginning of the episode, like your landing pages, not necessarily your homepage, but where people actually land after they click on an ad. Just like focus on that. Focus on having the essential information. And by essential, I understand that you mean, I think there's two most important elements in your product page, which are great images and great description. And description is not only what describes the product that you're trying to sell, but also what describes the service that you're giving. And that has to be all of it in one page, but make sure that you organize it from general to specific, and just make sure that you don't have just like a huge list of stuff and a huge scroll down. There's ways to add tabs and organize the information neatly, but it needs to be there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if, like I said, if you go into a supermarket and you buy products, say Heinz baked beans, obviously they have the main image on the front, but all the information on that tin as well is there for a reason. I've not just put it there. Obviously, it's information what people want. So you need to have that type of information on your website as well. And so don't just have it's available in red and white and it's this size and so on and it's made out of this. You need to have all the different information as well.
Like if you buy some pasta, right? Like you want to make sure that you have the instructions of how to cook it right at the package.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, plus the ingredients, what it contains, and so on, and the weight and the size and so on. That's another mistake people make. They'll add a product on their website and they won't have a lifestyle image, and you can't tell how big the image is. Like if you ever see a picture of a sofa, it will always be in a room, so people get the idea how big the sofa is and how it will look and so on.
And depending on the product, like you mentioned a couch, it's sometimes it's good to have another object in this along it, so you can see have some idea of how big it is or how small it is.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like a lamp, and quite often have lamps on there or pictures and so on. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you might think you're getting a big sofa, and it might be a little tiny dollhouse sofa.
All right. Well, Steven, thank you very much. I got a lot of useful tips for my own stores. So I really appreciate all this information, and I really thank you for your time. And I also want to invite you maybe in another episode down the road, if we want to geek out a little bit more, like get deeper into these topics. If you're up for it, we'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sounds good. Perhaps we can talk a bit more about CRO and testing and what you need to do and so on. And it's all about learning, not just A/B testing, because people think you can just, like you mentioned before, can just run an A/B test and that's it. And you need to pull all that information from different data points and so on, and QA test it, and yeah, there's a lot more into it and so on. I'm still learning now. Some of the people I've got on LinkedIn, some of them just are absolutely amazing. They've worked on stores like Amazon and have generated billions for companies and so on. So yeah, we're always learning, and we just need to, like with stores, you just need to learn. Don't presume you know what your visitors are doing and want, because no one knows. Every single store is different.
I agree. Every product and every service is different, and you need to make sure that your customers or potential customers realize how and why, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right. So again, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll have you soon again.
Okay, yeah. Nice meeting you.
You too. Have a great one. Well, there you have it. Awesome conversation with Steven. And actually, when we got off air, we kept talking a little bit, and yeah, he agrees. In order for the industry to improve, and by industry we mean online stores or merchants, we mean agencies and everything that's surrounding e-commerce, and specifically conversion rate optimization. We need to do more of this. So I'm super grateful that he agreed that he's gonna be back in I don't know, maybe a little bit down the road, when we start geeking out a little bit more with more technical stuff. We're now covering the basics, but in the future we're geeking out. So he agreed to be back on the podcast. So thank you very much, Steven, for your time and helping us fulfill this mission of educating and shining a light to CRO. So again, thank you very much for your time, for listening to this podcast. If you want more information, remember that you can go to Convert.com. We have a very, very large blog and a lot of assets, education assets, where you can, there's webinars, there's courses, there's a lot of information about not only CRO, but a lot of ways to improve your business, okay? Not just your conversion, but your business. So Convert.com, there's a lot of information. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about what Convert is, just feel free to ask. You can find help always at Convert.com. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.